Pick your class and
earn your battle points.
Because it's time for the Star Wars Battlefront Podcast. Welcome to episode 145 of the Star Wars Battlefront Podcast. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, joined by my brother and co-host, Sam Goodwin.
Hello there.
In this episode, we'll be going over all of the highlights that have happened in the past week in the world of Star Wars Battlefront 2, including the patch notes for the bug hotfix.
Let's get started.
We now have the details for the most recent update to Star Wars Battlefront 2. Palpatine's back, as well as Ewok Hunt. On the post, the patch note says, "Hi everyone, Emperor Palpatine and Ewok Hunt are back. The issues that required us to temporarily disable both have been fixed in this patch. In addition to that, we've deployed balancing updates to lightsaber heroes in Galactic Assault that should make them viable again. Give them a try and let us know what you think." We also addressed the stuttering upon hard lock issue in Hero Starfighter Assault. Finally, we want to thank you for your patience while we were working on addressing these key problems. Your feedback is valuable to us, so please keep sending it along as we continue to improve the game.
Honestly, I don't see why they just completely remove Palpatine from the game. I mean, if something's broken, you can just put some downtime on the servers and just fix the thing.
Well, the problem is it took them this long to get it fixed. Do you want the servers for Battlefront 2 to be down for a month?
I mean, Lando was completely broken. They didn't take him completely out from the game.
They should have.
But they didn't, and it worked.
Not really.
You know, weeks and weeks without Palpatine is like weeks and weeks from a loved one. That's just like the government taking a family member out from your family for weeks. Does that feel good?
As long as they give them back, it's fine.
We don't know if they were giving Palpatine back or not.
What were they going to do? Were they trying to become the Senate?
That would have been a beautiful transformation, but...
So these are the more detailed changes. That was just kind of the little fluff that they have before the actual changes for the patch notes. Palpatine has been added back to the game, obviously. Fixed an issue with Palpatine being very overpowered by restricting the angle from which the player could lock on with his lightning ability. Because previously he was able to, basically if you were looking in a general direction and activated your lightning ability, it would hit someone. Whether they're behind two walls or exactly in front of you, it didn't matter. So they have fixed that. They also fixed an issue where he was able to lock onto targets through walls. Ewok Hunt has been added back to the game. They fixed the issue where stormtroopers were unable to board the shuttle. They also rebalanced stamina for lightsaber heroes, because that was a big thing that they added last big update, was the balancing for stamina with lightsaber heroes. Basically, it kind of crapped out the usage of those particular heroes, so they've tweaked those specific stats. They fixed the issue in Starfighter Assault on PC where players experience a short stuttering before being locked on. They also fixed an issue with extraction where objective markers were misplaced on Kessel and Jabba's palace.
As far as the patch note goes, it's not actually that much.
It's not. This is just a quick little hot fix. It wasn't intended to fix a bunch of things. It was basically to bring Ewok Hunt and Palpatine back. It just took them a while to get it out.
Yeah, but I'm liking to see how they're changing the stamina for the lightsaber heroes, because they should be pretty powerful. And before this was fixed, you could easily take one down with just like a normal trooper.
Yes. Now, I still prefer the blaster heroes, but for those people who really enjoyed the lightsaber heroes, but since the patch tweaked them and caused them not to enjoy playing them, this should fix a lot of the issues that you were having.
So even the Palpatine fix wasn't even that much, to be honest.
No, it was a small...
strictly for locking capabilities.
Yes.
So why did they have to remove him from the game is what I'm asking.
I think that they heard the feedback from Battlefront 2015 with Lando, and they didn't want to replicate that. Because Lando...
we've been dealing with a broken Palpatine pretty much since day one, because he's been a very interesting character. Most people don't, they give him a hard time and think he's not viable, but actually he's really overpowered, and his lightning was completely broken up until this point, because the locking was completely just destroying everything.
Yes, so that
because you could just like circle around someone with his hops and just like melt their health down.
Yeah, so this update has fixed that, so we'll see how it goes into more detail. We haven't had a lot of time to go into depth and play Palpatine more. Even as a community, we haven't had a whole lot of time because that just launched, I believe this morning as we were recording this, August 7th. I'm really glad that they are updating these particular things. I like how they had enough of an idea of what the community thinks to take Palpatine out of the game, because that was a huge problem with Battlefront 2015 with that Lando power blast glitch.
Yeah, I was in there for like a month or something.
Yes, and that whole time people were just using Lando to destroy everyone.
I guess if they like really don't have any time to like quickly fix Palpatine, I can understand why they removed him from the game. Like, but you guys aren't really working on anything, so just get it out there.
Well, Ben has been on a vacation for the past week or two, which is why communication has slowed down.
But really, we're in kind of a dry little area for Battlefront 2, to where they're kind of, aren't they really focusing on the new battlefield? Like they're getting set up for that, so they're putting some manpower in that little area. The
Battlefront team isn't. Battlefront team is Battlefront.
Yes.
But EA's focus is on Battlefield 5 because that's the next big thing. So EA seems to be moving on from Battlefront, but there still is a focus on Battlefront as just a community, as a game, and the Battlefront team is working on things. Along with Ben Walke's return to DICE and the communication for being the community manager after that break. He came back with a bang. We got the correct patch notes posted on Twitter now. We got all of the details that we needed and some. Ben Walke went on Twitter and replied to a lot of comments and questions. The first that we have is Paul Blackhall at Darth_Paul Black. What's the current situation with Battlefront 2 hero emotes and victory poses? There's no current way to unlock them. And Ben Walke responded with, you can purchase them for credits in the next update. So confirmation that not this little hotfix, but the next actual update that will be bringing new clone appearances. That update will bring the ability to purchase hero emotes with credits.
I really like how they're trying to push the hero emotes, but really hasn't been in the game so far. Because before in Battlefront 2015, the emotes were kind of lacking. You get through them really quickly, and that's what I like about what they're trying to do, is push the emotes to where there's so many that you can't really stell them out. You know what I mean?
I think emotes have been because you haven't been able to purchase them, it hasn't been a highlight, but in Battlefront 2015, I loved using emotes because I could purchase them.
Yeah.
I had the ability, if I wanted to, spend my credits on a long list of emotes and immediately use them instead of
just for the normal trooper classes. But now that we have hero customizable emotes, as in you can actually equip different ones to your said hero. You know what I mean?
Like each hero has a specific emote.
Yeah,
it
has purchasable ones that, like he was saying,
that will be purchasable.
I know when you can purchase them.
Okay. We have John J at 4000. Can we get some new content? Can we get some content new or from the old game? Doesn't matter. I'm sick and tired of this bull crap. Though he doesn't use crap. Ben Walke responds, it's a bug patch, not an update. Updates are on the way per the roadmap. Ben Walke has been being so sassy. Someone was talking about the game being dead or like, you suck, and he was like, oh, thank you.
But the Twitter guy has a point. We need some new freaking content.
Of course.
No excuse, Ben. Like, we need some new content. I mean, Solo was a complete disappointment. I've already spouted my opinions on this, so I'm not going to go back into it.
From the podcast, Joshua at Devi My Sunshine asks a double question to Ben Walke. The first one is, what's the update on the clone customization, Ben? So happy to have you back. Ben responds with, later in August. #soon. And then part 2, Joshua says, thank you for answering. One more thing. Is the roadmap going to have anything substantial on it? Ben Walke responds with, plan is to get rid of fall and winter and break it down month by month. So their plan is to update the roadmap to where they can finally break it down month by month instead of just fall and winter. Literally, fall could be until December 21st and winter all the way into February. We need to get more details on the time frame of that and exactly what the breakdown with those months will be.
Yeah, the roadmap we have right now is everything we already knew about the game,
but compiled in a nice little pretty box.
But we do need little more specifics to month by month. That's a good promise from that. And with the clone customization, that should be really awesome, depending on how they implement it. Because the class customization appearance-wise is kind of lacking right now.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the class-specific races.
Yeah, just everything that they're adding that's like emote-wise, it just seems distant compared to Battlefront 2015. Like in Battlefront 2015, I was really wanting those species to customize my character for. Mm-hmm. But this game is like, meh.
Because we were trained so long to have a random skin. Every time we jumped into the game, it'd be something random or the generic
apart from hero customization, I just don't really associate myself with that in this new Battlefront. But the previous Battlefront, I was all about it, trying to get that Dark Trooper, trying to get the newest level associated skins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think my theory, I guess, is because we were started with the game not able to choose our skins, we've been trained not to be as skin focused as we were in Battlefront 2015. Battlefront 2015, like you were saying, I was all about the skins. I wanted Pancake Face. I wanted the Rhodian. I wanted the Dark Trooper. I wanted the Twi'lek. I wanted all of the races. But in this game, I'm not about that.
I understand that they're with the 4 classes, it kind of splits the customization in a way. But it would be awesome if you could pick one race and it goes through all of your classes that way, and it just changes their appearance minorly. Like the heavy has more armor or something.
Instead of, you can only be the Twi'lek if you're the specialist, or vice versa. Like, I don't like how
it's just more streamlined to have
all of them available
to every class. And it customized for every class. Otherwise, you're getting all lost in trying to, okay, my heavy looks like this, my assault looks like this.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of that. The next question we have with Ben Walke. John Joyce, is this patch going to fix the end of round scoring / credits glitch? Yes, I know we're still getting the correct credits, but would like to actually see what I'm getting accurately. Thanks. Ben Walke responds with, that's in the August update, not tomorrow's patch.
And the August update includes the Clone Wars specific customizations that we know of so far?
Yes. What we know of is we're getting the clone customization later in the month. We're getting a update to the scoring credits glitch. We are getting the ability to purchase hero emotes in the next update. So there are the 3 bigger things that we know are coming in the big August update.
Yeah, what Battlefront really needs is to be more focused on the customization for heroes and things, because they're obviously trying to push it, but it's not as prevalent as other games. Like, can you use Fortnite example? Like, they're cycling through content every day. They have daily items that update daily, and every so often they have new customizations that come in. They need something. I'm not saying they need to copy it, but they need to highlight some kind of customization on the main menu. Like, today we're going to showcase Lando's solo appearance. Just cycle through that, because a lot of people don't check through the menus and the HUD and all that. So just them highlighting certain customizations or certain items would be awesome.
Having a more dynamic home menu appearance. I actually really enjoy.
Or even just streamline the customization, because it's, you have to go to this hero, you have to go down to appearance, you have to go into options.
Yeah, there are many steps you have to take before you can get into the customization. I think that's a downside. But overall, I prefer Battlefront's UI than Fortnite's. Just
not
saying.
Comparing UIs, I'm just trying to, them to have daily content that's highlighted.
I think the main thing is Fortnite being the example that you use. Fortnite came into this as they knew that they were going to be adding consistent content in the form of seasons, in the form of daily updates, in the form of weekly updates, in the form of monthly updates. Well, Battlefront's basically like, what am I doing, guys? I had an idea, but everything's falling apart around me. I think that's the main thing, is they had an idea of what they wanted Battlefront to be with the seasons, with the free content, with the monthly updates, because we have been getting new content monthly.
But it doesn't feel like that.
It hasn't been I think the main reason is we haven't been getting maps or heroes monthly. It's been game modes and it's been skins.
Honestly, it just seems like the Battlefront time is so slow compared to other games. Just like everything's in slow motion. The updates, the patches, just new content in general.
Yeah, it does seem the time frame on everything on Battlefront is very slow. I think that's just because EA is a huge company. Now, I'm not giving them excuses. They should be faster. But I understand there are many hurdles to get through that. First off, there's the EA hurdles. Second off, there's the Lucasfilm, because they are working with Star Wars, and Star Wars is always been known to be very secretive and very slow with its release of news. And another thing that Ben Walke mentioned is he has put in a request to show details on Obi-Wan. That's basically sending a note to his higher ups, a message, a letter, talking to them in a meeting, saying, you know what, we should show off Obi-Wan. And then they get that, and they're like, okay, let's see, how soon do we want to approve this? So again, they have to send it up to the higher ups, and sometimes that isn't their priority, and sometimes the priorities of the fans are different than those higher-ups. So I think that's the big disconnect.
And the Obi-Wan and the General Grievous season's coming in fall, as the roadmap say?
Yes, and we're edging up on that. Edging up on the season fall. Obviously, the fall, I believe the fall financial quarter is moved forward a bit, which is why fall in the terms of video games and seasons and release dates can go all the way up to December 21st.
So once we hit fall, we'll have like 3 months for new content. We know it's going to be at the end of fall because they're never soon with anything. They're always extending it. They're always taking their own sweet time.
Which is good when you think about it. You want them to take their time with the quality, but hopefully past from what we've seen in the past and what we've seen what they do when they take longer, it hasn't been all that wowing with the extra time that they've taken. Again, there have been bugs, there have been just disappointments in terms of content. Whether or not that content has been great, I'm not saying that. Just the disappointment in the amount of it, or what we were expecting to see, that in particular doesn't always match up.
That's just starting to give me PTSD to the whole Last Jedi to Solo season time frame.
The next season is
just
going.
Just thinking about that makes me so angry.
Hopefully. Well, let's see. Let's say December 21st is the time that we get the Obi-Wan General Grievous content. So we got the Han Solo season. It ended in July, right?
July, correct.
August, September, October, November, December. 5 months.
5 months. That we know it's going to be 5 months.
Because in between The Last Jedi and Han Solo, so December, January, February, March, April, May. Did we get it in May?
Yeah, I think it started in May, correct?
Late May or early June.
Yeah, it was either I think it was early June.
So 6 or 7 months is
half
there.
A freaking year to get out DLC. 6 months for just complete and utter trash.
So I think that right there is the main thing that it feels like Battlefront slower, because the idea that we were introduced to when the game launched, or before the game launched, so that EA Play, we've had people saying, oh, we're doing seasons, it's free content, and it will be free content in the form of seasons much more frequently than our season pass DLC launches. It hasn't been like that at all. We have been getting monthly updates that have been bringing new content every month. But seasons haven't changed at all. They are still very much those big DLC launches that happen very infrequently. I would like to see more seasons. Tone down what you think a season is. Tone down exactly what it is.
Because they're defining content as little specks of dust that they throw out every once in a while, which is in the form of limited time only game modes, little customizations every once in a while. But really, we were promised at the start of this game to get seasons. That's the DLC term that we're getting. And we have only gotten 2 in a year. A year.
When did Fortnite come out?
Fortnite is a year old.
So
it
it's
has
a year
5
old.
freaking seasons.
It has had 5 seasons in 1 year.
And those are really, really in-depth seasons.
And we are, let's see, we're heading into the 10th month of Star Wars Battlefront 2's lifetime. So it's been almost out of 10 months. During that time, we've had 2 seasons.
2 seasons. One of them being completely a disappointment.
So we are 2 months away from the, we're technically 3 months away from a year old with Battlefront 2. And by that time, if it's December that we get season 3, during a whole year, we have gotten 2 seasons.
And Battlefront 2015 had 4 seasons in a year.
Yes.
And those were always promised as, far and few between. Like
every 3 months, every quarter, we would get a season
which seemed
or
at the,
DLC
which
launch.
seemed at the time like, oh my gosh, it's so long. But now that we're over here in Battlefront 2, that seems actually short. And we were promised at the beginning, less time, more content, a season every couple months.
Yeah, I think the idea of the game before launch hasn't been followed through, and I think that's the main thing. Now, I want to say this because it may seem like we're being negative. We're being critical. I love the game. I love this game. I adore this game. I want this game to be the best game it can be, but there are things that need to be changed for that to happen, and we need to push for those kind of things.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how this next season works with the Obi-Wan, because I'm calling it. It's make or break at this point.
Yes.
If they don't wow us, this game is dead.
They need a rebranding of the game, because in the mindset of gamers and people who play games, maybe they play shooters, but they don't necessarily play Battlefront, or they aren't familiar with the series, or just in passing. To them, the game has just been a failure. Constantly, they think it's just the worst game ever, not even taking into account or even questioning that. Just off the bat, they're like, oh, Battlefront 2. That's the sucky game with the crappy microtransactions and the crappy progression system and all of that jazz. When it's not the case, the game is solid.
It's a solid game.
It's just a lot of the things that started it.
At this point, a year into
out.
it, we've already played the crap out of the game to where most of the game modes are becoming old and stale in some ways. And that's what we rely on DLC for.
Is to keep the
a
content
refresh.
Fresh. Yes. So I think they need to push the advertisement, they need to push the marketing, and they need to push a new face of the game with the next DLC so they can save it.
I mean, at this point, when EA Play was happening, I was like, oh, 2 heroes and 2 villains? Like, this is going to bring the game back, but it turns out I'm only going to do 1 hero and 1 villain per season, per quarter so far.
Not necessarily per season, because in the Han Solo season, we didn't get any new heroes.
Don't even get me started on that.
That is a topic for another episode, and I believe we are done for this one. Unless there's big news, next episode I want to talk about the state of Battlefront 2. I want to. We'll see how that goes. Maybe for episode 150, we'll do a huge kind of thing. I want to do another like documentary style on the Battlefront like we did for our episode 100. Or for anniversary or episode 100. But I want to do something big like that and get a lot of feedback from the community members, from the developers. So maybe that's a time for later down the road, but I do want to explore that in the future. But that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I've been your host, Sage Goodwin.
I'm Sam Goodwin.
You can follow us on Twitter at SWB Podcast. If you like getting caught up with news as it happens, our Twitter is the best way to do that. I've been really happy with the speed at which I'm able to cover the news. Like, I've got updates on whenever Ben Walke tweets. So if there's something big happening, we're going to be covering it on our Twitter account. So definitely go send us a follow at SWB Podcast. Definitely worth your while. If not, you can just unfollow. That's how it works.
Our email is battlefrontpodcast@gmail.com.
That's another way you can get in contact with us. You can send us feedback. You can send us your thoughts on the episode's topics. Send us topic suggestions. We just want to hear from you. It's always helpful to get the communication and go forward with that. Definitely going forward, I want to do a monthly kind of like Q&A, like, okay, this is what's happening in the community. Let us know through Twitter, through email, that kind of thing. So definitely let us know through that. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/battlefrontpodcast, or on PayPal, paypal.me/tie-dye-sheep, TYEDYESHEEP.
Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/the Star Wars Battlefront Podcast.
Another way you can support us completely free. No money involved at all, just a little bit of time, your thoughts. Leaving a review on iTunes or however you listen to the podcast. Let us know what you think. I know you can leave reviews on Stitcher if you listen through Stitcher. On Google Play, you can do that. Google Podcasts, I think is what it's called. Apple Podcasts, if you listen through that, you can just head over to our show and let us know what you think. Leave us a review, just stars, or even better, leave us a written review. It helps us out a ton. You can listen to the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. It's always helpful to share the show. So if you enjoy the show and have friends that play Battlefront, share the show. We would really appreciate that. As always,
thanks for listening.
And may the Force be with you.